Welcome back to the Winning Moments, where we share all types of stories about high school and youth sports. We have a jam-packed show today with guests included, so let's kick it off and get right into it. Kevin, by the way, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays.
Yeah, that was my opening line. I'm happy Christmas is over.
Happy Christmas is over.
Not for anything. I'm not like a Grinch, and I'm not one of these guys who's just like wishing holidays away. I'm very lucky. 3 amazing kids. My wife's amazing. But there's just so much buildup to the day, and you get so distracted from anything else, including basketball. And then Christmas comes, and you get to watch the Knicks come back and win the way they did. We as a family watched Step and Act the other night on ESPN2, and it was just like, all right, now we're just gonna. Christmas is over. We're going to just focus on basketball for the next 2.5 months, which is great. Great for us in the show. Great for Coach Ward.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, I don't think you really get all that anxious about the holidays, do you, at this point?
Well, I mean, we do, but having a 21 and a 20-year-old, it's a different dynamic. Your dynamic is in the wheelhouse.
Yeah, we have...
For you guys, it's still the most wonderful time of the year.
I don't know how to say this, but we have varying levels of belief in our house about Christmas. And that's all I'm going to say about it. With a 12-year-old, a 10-year-old, and 8-year-old.
Yep.
And so we are kind of juggling that. But it's great. The day's great. The kids are happy, and they're home playing with the stuff that Santa got them.
So I will tell you, Kevin, that Santa comes for a household. So, like, if Santa doesn't come for one child, doesn't come for any child. So Santa continues to live on in my house with a 17, 15, and a 9-year-old. Because Santa is real and will be real for a very long time. Yeah. Now, on that note, since we are talking about the past, let's talk about the Week in Review headlines, Kevin.
Yeah, so we talked about Stepanak. Santa delivered them a trip to Florida this time of year, which was nice, well-timed.
Beautiful.
And then also the added gift of getting to play Paul VI for the second time, which normally when you play national competition, and you don't get the chance, you don't get 2 chances. So they played this team, Paul VI from Virginia, 3 weeks ago, or opened the season with them. Lost on ESPNU, national television, tough loss. They get another crack at them. They go to the city of Palms, and they go down to Florida, and they make it to the championship. They're on the opposite sides of the bracket. Now, you knew, as that tournament went on, and you watched what PVI did, they're going to be top 2-3 team in the country. By the time they got to meet, they knock off Bartlett, Stepanak Bartlett team out of Tennessee, which is a public school team, which has like the most ridiculous freshman, sophomore talent that I've seen.
Fantastic,
unbelievable team, how good they are. Stepanak took care of them, and then gets to play PVI in the championship, took them down to the wire, lost for the second time. But, watching them on ESPN2 and getting to see them, you realize just like they're getting better. They really are. They are getting. People have been critical of Stepanak to start the season because they're number 1 team in the country. So, everyone's going to try and find faults. They lose 2 games early. 2 national teams, 2 teams that are currently ranked. St. Francis out of Maryland's ranked 25th in the country now, and PVI, they lost twice, is now ranked number 1 in the country in Max Preps. Same rankings that Stepanak's number 1. Stepanak's number 8. So
that's got to be tough though. You lose twice to the same team, and they take your spot at number 1.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's tough.
That's an ego. That's an ego.
Yeah, but
buster.
So it's interesting though, Coach. You watched?
I didn't see the second game.
You watched the first game?
I watched the first game.
Dramatic improvements from Stepanak as a whole. And Hassan Karesi is going to Fordham. His brother Solomon Karesi played at Iona Prep. Hassan plays at Stepanak. Interesting little dynamic there. And Hassan was incredible. 32 points against Bartlett in the semifinals. Wow. And then that game was streamed national recording on by League Ready on the NBA channel. And then you had the game ESPN. He had 20-something in the game. And Josiah Jervis was awesome. And they did it with only 1 Ratliff. So Adonis Ratliff was injured.
I was going to say the other Ratliff was injured. And
they played the whole tournament.
Right.
And they made the championship. So it says a lot about this Stepanak team and how much they continue to improve.
And Pat getting them to play the right way without the other Ratliff brother.
Yeah.
But is a credit to him and the coaching staff on at Stepanak.
That was great. Got to watch them. We were a little bit of a jinx last week on our show. Some of the teams like on a prep we talked about.
Tim
and they
Phillip
lost.
might not be happy with us, Kevin.
I know.
John.
Yeah, they lost 2 games, Cardinal Hayes and to Zavarian, both road games. Impossible to win at Cardinal Hayes. Yeah. It's like really difficult. We lost in overtime there. So that was a tough one.
He said it was going to be difficult too.
Yeah.
He said.
And then losing Zavarian on a Sunday before holiday is tough. So their matchup against Stepanak at the County Center in the Crusader Classic as part of the Slam Dunk Challenge, January 3rd, Saturday night. So we'll talk about those games
We'll
later.
be there for that.
Yeah, we'll be there for that. And it's, kind of as I said, it's basketball season is kind of turn the page off the holidays and just, what else are you going to do now, right? Just watch basketball.
That's it.
That's it.
That's
so
it.
excited for that, and excited to see a lot of the other teams. I did take the holiday break like this last couple of days when game schools were off to go and watch some teams, full games. I watched a lot of highlights. I don't really ever get to watch full games as as I'd like to, and you learn more about a team. We talked about Albertus Magnus girls the other day, and we're going to talk about them a little bit more today. But just about how how all the pieces fit around the superstar Julia Scott. We'll talk about that. But excited for basketball, man. And then the Knicks were just awesome.
Oh, come on. That comeback win for the Knicks. I mean, how do you set off Christmas? That's how you set Christmas off, right there.
Yeah. Well, he didn't set it off by, I get in the shower, my wife goes, it's 18-2, 18-3. I was like, what? Yeah. She's like, yeah. And then I thought to myself, can you imagine getting up on Christmas morning? We're going to go to the Knicks game. And you get there 2 minutes in, you're down 18, 50
It was 103-86 when they made their run.
Yeah.
And the best thing was, Mia Ward, our daughter's like, can we watch the Knicks? I'm like, sure. So we turned it on because we had the TV off for the morning. We turned it on, so we got to see the last 6 minutes.
Yeah. It was great.
Electric. It was fantastic. And shout out to Mia Ward for letting us get a chance to see that game. And Lisa Ward was watching. We were all watching it. And normally I'm not a big NBA guy, as we all know.
Yeah.
But that game was fantastic. And Brunson was unbelievable.
Listen, my son was going back and forth between the football game and the Knicks game. I'm like, listen, man.
Football game.
What are you talking about, Sebastian? We're watching the Knicks game. Okay?
Absolutely.
But, Dad, the Knicks are getting blown out, and they're going to lose bad. All right, just let it go. And then all of a sudden, bam, bam, okay.
Got it going.
Got it going. And then that play at the end, right?
Unreal.
To bring them up.
That was awesome.
It's just amazing. Great way to start off Christmas Day.
Absolutely.
With the Knicks game, and that's been great. So thank you for the headlines. And when you said, take some time off, I was like, wait a minute. Take time off? You?
I meant the kids are off from school.
Yeah, okay.
And wife is off from school. She's a teacher. So that's really what
Yes.
time off meant.
Yeah,
There's
absolutely.
no real time off,
All right, one of the hardest working individuals I've ever seen in my life.
Thank
All
you.
right.
I appreciate it.
Okay, so we're going to move to this segment that we call the hot take of the week. And today we're going to talk about numbers. Not boring math numbers, but numbers and how important they are to our sports. Between all the data that we can capture from high-level data analytics to record breaks and how important records are to us as a society and how hard it is to actually break a record. We're going to talk about a couple of kids in our player of the week that are on their path to breaking a long-time record. We're going to have a record breaker on the show.
Absolutely.
So, Coach, we'll start off with you. You coached so many years and so many people. If you look at like high school sports, especially in Section 1, that first record to grab or to be a part of that side of it's not a record breaking, but it's, hey, I scored 1,000 points in high school. Last week we talked about Mickey, 1,000-point scorer, and that's like an achievement to have. But does that get in the way of how the kids play at times? Does it get in their heads?
It depends on the team, what their culture is, how their coach holds the team to a certain standard, how their culture is. I think that this is a tricky subject because you want to make sure that your player who is really exceptional, you put them in a position to thrive. You put them in a position to excel. But you have to balance it and make sure that it's not to the detriment of your team. And that is a really tough balancing act. You have to allow that player to get there. If you've got a player that can really score it and get a chance to score 1,000, but do it within in an area and an aspect where we're going to be successful collectively, then you let them go.
But I also feel like there's players that are freshmen, haven't stepped on the court yet, and they're thinking about that 1,000 points. And Kevin, you watch so many kids play throughout all of your career. Like, how do you see kids? How do kids lock in to the team aspect of it, and also not? Especially we talked about social media last week about how numbers and people want to put their stats up and how stats are important to get that social media notoriety.
Yeah.
How do kids lock in to be team players and also be star athletes?
First off, I'll say this, is that the idea that 1,000 points is, it happens all the time. Yeah, it does, but it doesn't mean it should not be celebrated. I still think it's an achievement, especially at the high school level.
Agreed.
And to think that anyone's accomplishments or anything like that should be diminished because, it's like, 100 million kids do this, right? There was a Pleasantville player a few years ago who was close. He thought she ended her career with 998. And they went back and watched like every game over and over again, and they found that they had like a book wrong from 2 years earlier, and she had 5 more points, and she was over 1,000. So like that meant something to her family.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
I've kind of like over the years have learned like we should celebrate any levels of success that an individual has. Because it is meaningful. Like I think you do remember this stuff as you get older. I very rarely feel that I've ever watched somebody ever break a record or get a milestone that was truly at the detriment of their team. Normally, if you score 1,000 points, you're pretty good. You make your team pretty good.
Absolutely.
So I don't think it ever really happens. So like Anthony Ficcarata is a good example. Is that yes, he's trying to break this from Dobbs Ferry. He's trying to break the all-time Section 1 scoring record. But he's really, if you watch his games, you would never think that he's just trying to break the record. He's trying to win. I mean, he really is.
Yeah, I agree.
He is such a dominant force that, yeah, he takes a lot of shots and he makes a lot of layups though. So he's just getting to the basket, making these easy layups in the sense that he's finding his way there. He's doing the work from the top of the key to get those layups. I've never once felt that really any player that's scored 2,000 points or which is rare, or has broken a record, has really said, well, I don't care about the team. And do that. So I think it's easy to think that. Now, if you're a freshman out there that's thinking about scoring 1,000 points in their career, that's not them. That's usually their parents that have kind of planted that seed. So I think it's more on the parents. It's just like, don't worry about that stuff. That stuff will always take care of itself. It'll always work its way out. So
I think a credit to what you said about Anthony, because we talked about him in the first episode, and his first game where I think he had 42 points.
Yeah.
He didn't play most of the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
So for a kid who's trying to break the record, he would have played most of the fourth quarter. I think truly he wants to win. That record will get broken by him. I'm confident it'll happen this year just because he's a great player and he makes himself and the team better.
Yeah.
And he's always locked in. I mean, he's a phenomenal ball player. Tough to cover.
Anthony's a unique case because of just first off how skilled he is, how gifted he is, how competitive he is, how hard he works, but also because he's very fortunate, and he would be the first to admit this, to be surrounded by a team that says, you're the guy, and we're going to, we know we can win. Like if you break records and you score a point, that's a byproduct.
You just took the words out of my mouth.
Yeah. That team that he has is so bought in to him being the guy that scores all the points to help him win the games. But you can't just do that without the supporting cast. And as I said, he'd be the first to admit that. Is that everything they do is sort of centered around, okay, we're going to move here, we're going to do this, we're going to make this screen, make this pass because it's going to result in Anthony's layup.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's just a total team buy-in.
Scott Petrillo, his head coach, and his supporting cast, they put him in positions to be successful. I saw the game live against a very young but a very talented Alexander Hamilton team. Coach Keith Wright's doing a great job over there with a young group. They're ahead of schedule. That was a very tough game, and they needed every one of Anthony's buckets.
Yeah.
And he got them at the right time, crucial times where he made the right plays. And then after the game, he came to me and he asked me for some guidance. And that's a kid who's so humble, and he just wants to get better because he desperately wants to win. It comes back to what we said. Like Kevin said, and John, and he's right, Kevin's right. Most of the time when you have 1,000-point score, 1,500-point score, 2,000-point score, they normally are on very successful teams.
Right.
Yeah.
Because I think to Kevin's point, like the team buys in.
Yes, they do.
Right? I mean,
absolutely.
Listen, Anthony is not a scorer. He's a playmaker.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. That's a big difference, I think, that we forget about in basketball, where like Luka is a playmaker.
Yeah.
Right. LeBron is a scorer that became a playmaker.
Right.
Right. But there's a big difference between a playmaker and a scorer. When you're a playmaker, yes, you're going to score when you're that good, but you're going to make your team significantly better. And I think that kid does it often.
Our guest today is a playmaker also.
Yeah,
She is a playmaker.
Our guest can make
very
she makes
much
plays.
the same mold. Yeah, so
She's very much the same.
I'll take that. And listen, if Anthony Ficcarata was on a different team, he may not break the record because he may not have a team that has bought into this idea that this is our best chance to win, and everyone's kind of bought into that. Anthony being our guy, being our leading scorer. And it's amazing to watch when I go to their games and I'm like, man, there's no jealousy. There doesn't seem like there's anything. This is all kind of everyone bought into this idea. And and I'm not going to just ignore the fact that he probably is the most underappreciated player from outsiders. The amount of I don't want to say disrespect, but he doesn't make Super 7 from Aloha. Are you kidding me? There's been a couple things that have gone on. He didn't get voted Coaches Association first team last year. What are you guys watching? Is it because he goes to a small school? Give me a break. If you really know basketball and you watch basketball, you would take that kid on your team over pretty much everybody. So I'm very curious to see how these next few months play out with Anthony Figueroa, because the lack of respect that he gets from coaches, from forget fans and stuff like that. They're always going to yell overrated.
Of course.
He misses that first three of a game. But media, everybody, I think you're missing out if you don't take advantage of these next 2 months to get to watch him play. Now, listen, Woodlands is probably going to beat them in the championship or in the playoffs because Woodlands is just so good.
They're exponentially much better than anybody now in Class B.
But take your opportunity to go watch him play if you haven't watched him play.
And by the way, such a humble kid. He sits. So they had the varsity game, right? He sat on the bench with the JV kids and was helping the JV coach talk to the kids. And he's such a humble, down home kid.
Yeah, I'll tell you, Kevin. He might be underrated in many of those things.
Yeah.
But I will tell you that we did get a slew of DMs, from people giving us Player of the Week nominations.
Yeah.
Because they played well against him.
Okay.
Swear to
that's good.
We actually I have one I'll show you guys at the show. Hey, this gentleman played really well against Anthony.
Yeah.
Right. And that was his lead into the DM. He should be considered because he played well stacked up against Anthony.
Sure.
Which that to me is the ultimate peer-to-peer side. It was from a dad that sent it to us about his son, I think, or maybe the assistant coach.
Yeah.
But that gives him credit. His game will always speak for himself. So, and I don't care what size of the school you are, when you drop 51 points in a game, in any game, you can drop 51 points in a rec game, in an AAU game, in a pickup game that the three of us would play in. 51 points is a hell of a lot of points to drop in that time frame. So, credit to him. We look forward to talking to him. We'll definitely get him on the show.
Yeah, he'd be interesting to bring on.
It'll be interesting to bring on the show. But I'm very excited to talk about our next guest. Okay, the first guest that we've had here on the show, gentlemen, I think it's amazing to bring a guest on. Shout out to our great crew behind us that set this all up today for this first side.
Claudio and Justin.
Yep,
absolutely.
How do you guys feel about our next guest?
For our guest, Kendall?
Yes.
I think she's awesome.
Yeah.
I love watching her play. She is, we talk about Anthony and how the playmaking ability, not just scoring. Scoring is a byproduct of making all the plays. She's unbelievable at it.
I've seen her on game day one.
Yeah.
I'm looking forward to seeing her live at some point over the holiday or at the beginning of the new year. And she's an outstanding player. And credit to her for getting to commit and be a part of Colgate and Division I program. And Colgate's getting themselves a really advanced, refined, skilled offensive player.
Well, listen, instead of talking about her, why don't we talk with her and let's bring her on right now. Everybody, welcome to the show, Kendall Konigsberg.
Thank you. I'm very excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
Awesome. Excited to have you. Obviously, it's been only been a couple weeks into the season, but seems like you are you kind of picked up where you left off last year. How have the first couple weeks gone so far?
They've been going, I'd say, pretty well. I'm pretty sure we're 5-2 as a team. Our two losses were against much bigger schools. I think we could have had them, but I'm still very proud of the success we've had, and I think we're getting better throughout the season. And yeah, I'm really excited for the games to pick up after the break.
Seven games in, so you're like more than a third of the way through the regular season. You made your college commitment. Let's talk about that first. Going to Colgate. Tell me about because I know that NYU was very interested, and obviously being close to home, Division III powerhouse. But Colgate was your final choice here.
Yeah. So throughout my college search, Colgate has always been like that school that I've just like fell in love with, and I've just remained interested throughout it all. So this summer, right before like my AAU, that's like the big
season, yeah.
Yeah. I broke my finger and I had surgery, so I wasn't able to play. But I before then I had interest from schools like NYU you were talking about and a few others, and Colgate has always been like there, but yeah, after the summer, Colgate just, I don't know, like I kind of stuck with them, and I kept like reaching out, and I was just like, love you guys, like so it all worked out in the end. I was very grateful for that, and I'm very excited for that opportunity.
I love that you took the challenge of making your future in your own hands. Like you said, reaching out to them, like, hey guys, love you guys, don't forget about me, keep thinking about me. That's pretty awesome.
It's probably the most underrated part of the recruiting is that you sort of like, in a lot of ways, need to kind of not recruit yourself, but like you need to kind of show them your interest. And I tell kids all the time when they talk about social media and they get recruited, it's like, don't ignore schools just because you think, oh, I would never want to go there, because you may, burn a little bit of that bridge that they're trying to build. So how important is that to stay in touch with the schools that you're interested in and interested in you as well? Yeah,
very important. Just the constant reaching out to schools was something that throughout like my sophomore and junior year, it was time consuming, but it was very important, and it paid off. And yeah.
Did you do it through social media, or how did you reach out to the schools?
It was some of it through social media. I had to post and like publicize myself a lot. I had to make some like highlight videos, and I emailed a lot. But yeah, it was mainly through those two.
Is that the best advice you give somebody who's maybe sitting in freshman, sophomore year about the recruiting process? Is that doing stuff like that? So like I see some things, and it's probably, I don't think it's really like your character to want to be like boast about yourself, but like how important is that part of it?
Yeah, it is very important to advertise yourself. I'm very lucky with like the network that I had. My coach, my AU coach, Nick Rosavi, he was great with that, helping me through that process as well. But yeah, I think just trust yourself. You know yourself the best. You know what type of school you're looking for, and yeah.
Talk about AAU, because I hear from Coach Nick about you as maybe ninth grade. When did you join Northeast?
When I was fifth grade.
Fifth grade.
Yeah.
So you went through all the way through. You went from start to finish. Yep. One AAU program, which is very rare.
Absolutely.
He said right around eighth grade was when you changed as a player. Do you remember that?
Yep.
And in what ways? What is he referring to?
There was one summer. Earlier in my Northeast Elite career, I not against Nick. I didn't get much playing time. I don't know. There was one summer where I really worked at it. I think that was a 7th grade into 8th grade summer. But I remember like coming back and like I worked my way up to starter, and then like as the main player of the team. It was, I don't know. It was
rewarding. I mean, were you too young to kind of understand that like you maybe had jumped from the middle part of the bench to the starting lineup?
I knew that I had to work because my mom played basketball in college, and that was around the time where I realized like I really wanted to play basketball in college, and I knew I had to work to get to that point, to get to the starting spot on my AAU team. So that summer, that was a big time for me. Yeah.
Shout out to mom. Where did she play?
Princeton. She played basketball, not only basketball, but softball and field hockey at Princeton.
Three sports
college Division I athlete.
Goodness.
Yeah. Okay, so
Yeah.
we know where the talent comes from.
Also shout out, it's her birthday today.
Is it really?
Happy
Get out of here!
birthday,
Really?
Mom.
She's here?
Happy
Amazing.
birthday.
Mom is on set for her birthday. Okay, listen. Someone order a birthday cake from Uber Eats, please.
So it's interesting because that would never happen now, right? It would never unless you're a gifted level of athlete at this point. But you still managed to play soccer. You won a soccer championship in the fall. I know it's not your primary sport. You want to win a basketball championship, but how much did winning a soccer Section 1 title mean?
Yeah, that meant so much. I mean, I've also been playing soccer since like I can remember, and just being on the same team as like the girls growing up. We were all on the same like travel team, and many of those girls on my soccer team play basketball with me as well. And when I used to play softball, but it's great to be able to achieve something like that with girls you grew up with, because you're so close and you get to share that accomplishment. But yeah, that was very exciting.
And you played softball, varsity softball as a 7th grader, is that right?
Yeah.
And then you stopped playing last year.
I stopped playing. 10th grade was my last year.
10th grade,
yes.
so you didn't play as a junior. Any plans to go back, or is it still, are you still in basketball?
We'll see. I think we'll probably stick with basketball and training in the spring.
Training this spring. Good call. But how much does being a multi-sport athlete matter to you, telling people that you play multiple sports? Because a lot of the athletes we talk about, especially on this show, only play basketball.
Yeah.
So how important was that to kind of maintain that? And just from your own, like, physical health, mental health, not just being all basketball all the time, the pressures of that, how much did that matter?
Yeah, I was going to say, like, obviously basketball, love basketball. I've been playing it my whole life. But to be able to get a break from it sometimes and find other ways to exercise. And, like, soccer, obviously, running sport is great, like, in the fall to keep up my endurance and to really get me ready for basketball season. But I don't know. I love soccer and I love playing with my teammates and my friends. We're all close in the team.
Yeah, so it was. And you had an amazing, you guys went overtime, right? In the section championship in soccer?
Yeah.
Yeah, you went overtime and beat Briarcliff in that final. Is that right? And so, yeah, that was incredible. And now you carry over success into the basketball. As you said, 5-2. So losses were to Mamaroneck, Scarsdale, or Nyack?
Nyack and then Scarsdale.
And then Scarsdale, yes.
Yeah,
Those are
Mamaroneck
quality
tournament.
losses.
Yeah, quality teams we've talked about. I think they've combined. I think they're 10-1 combined. So if my mental recall is correct.
Your mental recall is always correct.
Yes, we try.
With the one time.
Yeah, the one time. Yeah.
Yeah.
So now you. What are some of the goals for this season?
League, first of all, but I really want that gold ball. I think we're due for it. I think we have an amazing opportunity. We have a lot of returning players, but also a lot of not new, but younger kids coming up who have gone very good. And I don't know, I'm very excited for that.
Listen, as a Blind Brook dad, I want to say that I agree with her, especially because Blind Brook wasn't picked as one of the Gold Ball favorites from my co-host. So let's make sure that we really stick it to them this year. Yep.
You have to feel, though, got the taste of it last year, going to the county center, losing to Dobbs. They go on to lose to YMA. I think all the pressure in the world is on YMA, which is, and they've obviously shined so far. They've looked really good. But how much did last year's experience getting there, to get into the county center, playing on the floor, that whole experience matter?
Yeah, I mean, it was my first time playing in the county center, which is, I don't know, it's kind of hard to believe, but it meant a lot to be there. But I think getting that playoff experience, being in that atmosphere, was really helpful for me and for some of my teammates, or for all my returning teammates.
Yeah.
But yeah.
You heard us talk about Anthony Figueroa and about this idea that he can't, because you're closing in how many you closing in on 2,000 points?
Yeah.
Getting up there, getting close. Yeah. So which is something that, if you go through the state girls record books, it hasn't happened a lot. Cadence Nicholas did it from Panis last year. But before that, it happens once every 7 or 8 years. I almost said 6, 7 years. 7 or 8 years. So I don't make that mistake. So
I was good.
Coach's hands are coming up.
Keep my hands
Keep your hands
down
down. I didn't
below
say
the
it.
tape. I'm gonna keep my hands on my chair.
We it doesn't happen often, and it's an incredible accomplishment. But you need teammates. And we talked about Anthony Figueroa, how his teammates kind of bought into this whole idea that he was going to be the guy. Your teammates do the same, right? I mean, how much do your teammates kind of help you be the player who, gets the tweet after the game from Coach Yearwood about, 30 points, 40 points in games, things like that?
Yeah, I mean, obviously I'm so grateful for my teammates. Most of them, I'm very lucky because I get to play with some of my best friends. And I don't know, all the practices and games and bus rides are so fun together, but I know they're always there to support me, but I feel like most importantly, while 2000, obviously, I'm looking for that. I'm more looking for the team success and to get that gold ball, and to just do it with the girls that I've grown up with. But yeah, that's what I'm looking for.
As we said before the interview, playmaker, Kevin. So the name of the show is called The Winning Moments, all right? And you now broke the all-time leading scorer for the entire school. Okay, doesn't matter if it's boys or girls. You are now the all-time leading scorer in that school's history. What did that moment feel like for you?
That I actually didn't even realize during that game that I broke the record. I knew that I was getting close, but I think my mom told me after the game. It means a lot to me, but I don't know. I still feel like I'm focused more on the, I don't know, like on the team. Like I love those moments where I get to celebrate my hard work and like that pays off. But I wasn't very focused on the breaking.
You're focused on your team being the best version of themselves they can be, aren't you, Kendall? Yeah. You can tell, and there's no doubt, John, Kevin, listening to Kendall speak, you really want that gold ball. You really want to win the section. And you can tell that you want to do everything in your power to make your team the best versions of themselves collectively, and then you be the main facilitator for that.
Yep. Tell me about, I talked to your mother over the years about the amount of hours you put in work, going to training and things like that. What area of your game would you say you've worked on the most? What area of your game do you think transformed your game? Took you from being a middle of the bench player on a great AAU team to a starter and kind of transform your game at the high school level?
Yeah. I feel like historically, like throughout my childhood, I was, I saw myself, I was perceived as like the shooter in the corner. Like, that's what I felt like my role was on my AAU team and just throughout. But I think recently I've developed more of like my driving game and my ball handling. Obviously, like that's part of the game, like you always have to develop, but I've really been focusing on that and getting stronger. As I said, like in the spring, I don't play softball anymore because I'm focusing more on like weight training and things like that. So that's been a big part of my game. But I think it's been exploring more parts of my game than just like my shooting.
Yeah. Yeah, I think getting to the basket, finishing, being strong, and that's like the huge part of it, because there is definitely a market for teammates to be that wing shooter, but like you weren't just gonna be satisfied with that. It didn't seem like you were just a 3-point specialist. You didn't want to be that player. So and I don't think you could be on your team, right? They need you to do pretty much a little bit of everything. Those girls on your AE team is a special group, right? I mean that team that you had the last 7 years. Yeah. The way you guys grew together. If you look at the Lohud Super 7, there was a lot of you girls in that team. Was there a little bit of pride? Was the group chat lit up when that was coming out?
Yeah, I mean, being able to play with those girls since like 5th grade, some of them a bit of a newer addition, but it's really special to see their success and to like see them many of them going on to play at the next level. I don't know, I'm very proud of them for that, and being able to work with them throughout that has been.
My wife was reading off the list to my daughter last night because my daughter plays on the younger Northeastern team, and she was like, "Listen, 4 girls, Claire and Kendall and Madison made the second." So my daughter was very excited to hear that.
And to speak to Nick Rasavi and Northeast Elite's program, they do a great job. There's not a lot of turnover, Kendall. I mean, most of those girls that you've played with have been there since the time you were there, correct? Now, obviously, you'll have some people drop, but the people that have come to you guys, program-wise, have been great additions, correct?
Yeah.
And they fit right into the culture.
Like Claire came in this year, Claire Schnecker from Ossining, right? She was a great addition. She's off to a great start for Ossining. So yeah. So obviously lost Luciana Parada over the years. She left, but she's going to play Division I. So that was a special group that you got to grow up with. What else? What else are you looking forward to in the second half of the season? League play.
Yes, league play. I was talking about before. Our homecoming game. Very excited for that against Westlake. I'm looking forward because they've been, I would say, a rival throughout like my career. But I'm excited for that. I'm also excited to play Ardsley.
Yep.
Because they're filled with Northeast Elite, like Nick Rasavi's the coach, and a lot of my teammates, and we've played them. I think this may be our 3rd or 4th time playing them. Throughout my career, and never won, but I have a good feeling about this year.
Yeah, well, he knows.
I really do.
Does he know? Does he think he's game planning? He knows how to stop you.
I mean,
if I was to be three defenders,
he does know me as well as anyone.
Yeah.
In terms of how I play, but.
What are you working on your bag right now? Since they already know you, like when you play against people who know you so well, the coach and the player is like, You putting some stuff in your? Are you putting some stuff in your bag at the gym that you're not telling anybody about right now?
Yeah, he doesn't know what's coming.
I like
good.
that. I like that. That's great.
Awesome. Players of the week. Want to help us do players of the week?
Yeah. Let's do players of the week.
Yeah. All right. So
Start with our
players,
girls.
Yeah. Start with our girls on the girls' side. Sarah Nejai is our first player of the week from Albertus Magnus. Now, I'm not trying to go out of my way to not highlight Julia Scott. Julia Scott is obviously she's headed to Clemson, one of the top players in the country. But we all know who Julia Scott is, and player of the week. She could be player of the week every week.
Yep.
I just watched Albertus dismantle Arlington, who's actually another team we're going to talk about on our show, just through ball movement. It's incredible how well they move the ball for open looks. Even shots they missed, I was like, that wasn't a bad shot. That was a good look. Sarah Nejai is a huge part of that. She is so physically strong on the defensive end. Team's 4-1. She's averaging 15.2 points per game. Had 15 against John Jay's Fishkill. Another Division I player, only a sophomore. She is her and Maddie Zuppi. I think the two of them. Yeah, obviously you know Maddie. Same. She's a senior. She's headed to Trinity College. She is just the two of them. The way they spread the floor and a lot of what Julia Scott can do from an offensive standpoint, they could do because you can't just triple team her down when she gets the ball in the paint.
Load up on the
No, you can't because
post.
you're just going to leave the 3-point line open. Have you seen Albertus Magnus play? You have never faced Albertus.
Yeah, never played them.
No, never played them. But Sarah Nejai is terrific. She's our
According to
first player.
Kevin, they're the best catch and shoot team.
Yeah, they're very good. I mean,
we're going to touch on catch and shoot a little bit later in the show.
Well, I was watching the first quarter of the game, and I'm like, wow, they're taking too many threes. And the quarter ended, they're up 20-4. I'm like, well, they scored 20 points in a quarter, so maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I don't know what I'm talking about here. But it was mostly off the defensive end, and Sarah Nejai is just so physically strong on defense.
Kevin, let me ask you something, John. Kevin, did that loss? Who was that loss to?
They lost to Bishop Neumann.
So was that game relatively competitive?
Yeah, it was close down to the. They had the game. They led for 30 of the 32 minutes of the game, and Newman's a top team in the country.
Of course.
Yeah. So, Bishop McNamara, not Bishop Neumann.
Bishop McNamara out of Maryland.
Yep. Bishop McNamara is a top team in the country. So that was an okay loss. You know, for them absorb.
That's a quality loss for them.
Yep, totally.
And for them and for Pat and that group bodes badly for the rest of the state of New York.
Yeah, no, totally. Our next player of the week is Riley Waters from Lakeland, nominee. She led them to wins in back-to-back games this week. She had 23 in a win over John Jay Cross River, 18 in a win over Yorktown. She's only a sophomore, terrific passer, and she's in an interesting spot because she's even as a sophomore, she's a veteran on this team, considering that they have 7th and 8th graders
playing varsity,
that play varsity and play significant minutes. You have a lot of youth on your team, Kendall. You have a lot of girls.
We have a couple freshmen, and we have an 8th grader on our team. Yeah.
How hard is it to play alongside players who just don't have the reps of varsity basketball like that? And how much do you find yourself being almost like assistant coach on a team like that?
I do have to give credit to them because I have seen teams where they're the young kids have come in and it's hard for them to understand like plays or to really get the concepts. But I feel like on my team they really get it.
Okay.
So that's something I feel like I can't put too much experience into. But yeah, just being a role model for the younger kids has been something that I've been trying to do.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's a very important part of it.
Totally. Adriana Arbab's 7th grader. We brought her up a couple weeks ago on the show. She's fantastic. She had a couple threes in the win over Yorktown. She's going to be amazing.
I think Kendall, and I'm going to speak to that as well. Kendall, your job is basically on the court as a coach, being able to keep them without the deer in the headlights look, right? Yeah. At crucial times.
Yeah, I just think communication is very important for them to learn how to communicate and have that team chemistry, but to communicate with them so they're not confused on the court.
Or overwhelmed.
Overwhelmed, yeah, totally.
Yeah. Listen, it's not the norm. I mean, like I grew up in the Bronx playing basketball. There was no way you had a 7th or 8th graders. Like 7th or 8th grade playing with seniors, there's a whole different dynamic of just maturity.
Maturity
age
is the number one thing. Yeah, the way you communicate. So, this wasn't by design, but we have 3 sophomores as our players of the week. Our sophomores, Nina Muller from Rhine-Neck. 32 points in a win over Valhalla, which was awesome, career high for her. And then she matched it the next day in a win over Dobbs Ferry, 32 points again. She's a girl who decided that this year, she wanted to play college basketball, and she was going to work towards that. And the light bulb went on in her head about what it's going to take, the work it's going to take. She had 32 points in back-to-back games. and she's been terrific for them. She's also a good rebounder. She had 14 rebounds in the win over Valhalla. So Ryan-Eck is, as we said, we talked about Ryan-Eck as you're one of your rivals.
In league.
In league,
play.
yeah. So Nina Muller is going to be, you're probably going to defend her, right? Is that how it's going to work?
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are our players of the week nominees for this week.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kevin. So let's keep rolling. Let's jump right into the teams of the week.
We're going to pick.
We got to pick.
Blake?
We got to pick, John.
Yeah, we got a choice.
See,
Everybody's got choice.
Well, I gave you the resume.
Okay.
So,
here. Yep.
I'm going to go. You asked me. Can I go first?
Yeah.
I'm going to go Sarah Nejai because I gave you all these numbers, these 3 players, but if you watch the game, just how she dominated the game defensively with their they didn't even use that. These like a half court, 2-2-1 half court, and she just was a turnover, forced so many turnovers. She just caused so much chaos defensively. I thought she was the player of the week. And she could have shared it with Maddie Zuppi as well from her own team.
Coach?
Riley Waters, we're probably going to revisit again this year.
Yeah.
For me, it's going to be Nina Muller because of the fact that anytime that you can get a career high of 32 points and then turn around and match a career high the next game, that's significant. It shows a tremendous level of improvement. And like you said, now she's focused on wanting to play at the collegiate level. Kendall, you know what that's about. Obviously, you started a little bit earlier, but I'm happy that that she seems to be going in the right direction, and I'm going to make her my player of the week.
All right.
Now, Kendall, since you're on the show for the first time, these guys very rarely agree on player of the week. They actually agreed about you last week, and you won player of the week to the fans' choice as well. So would you honor us with your pick of player of the week out of those 3 girls?
Yeah. I mean, I think I may say Sarah.
Yeah.
Albertus Magnus, just because I've never seen her play, but what you were talking about with her ability to share the ball, I feel like ball movement is one of the most important things in the sport of basketball, and be able to share that success with your team.
I love it.
I was cutting the.
I love it.
Coach is like, can I recreate this DNA for all of my team?
She had a play when I was cutting the highlights for the show. She had a play where she kind of came up the court off a turnover, and she had the ball in her right hand, and she saw someone in the far corner, and she just like one hand passed it across the entire court through the defense, right into the hands of the shooter who caught Zuppi, caught it and shot. It was incredible play. So just little things in games that just catch my eye now.
I love the long bounce pass.
All right, teams of the week.
Favorites.
Scarsdale. You played Scarsdale, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so they're team of the week. We talked about Northeast Elite, Abby Naborbi. She's only a freshman. She's on this great freshman team that's in Northeast Elite. She's averaged 19 points per game as only a freshman, as we said. And this is a team, Scarsdale is interesting because they held New Rochelle to like 18 points or 16 points in a game,
Good Lord.
Which is incredible. They're a very, very good defensive team. They kind of all bought into the freshman nucleus that they have, being major contributors. 5 freshmen on the roster, 4 of them play pretty significant minutes. And then around them, they have seniors in Leah Brown, Stevie Rosenberg, and Chloe Brown, who are members of their state champion flag football team.
They've got a dynasty in flag football.
Yeah, they're really good. They're awesome.
Dynasty.
So when that's like the perfect start. It's like, okay, we need veterans who are, basketball players, but maybe they're focused maybe on another sport as their primary sport, but they're just good athletes and they buy into the team and they're going to help nurture this young group coming along. And Scarsdale 6-1 entering the break. They beat Mamaroneck 38-26, and they might be the best defensive team in the section.
And credit to Coach Blanco for getting them to this point and having those kids buy in to that system and that way of playing.
What were your impressions, Kendall?
Adding into the defensive part, one thing when I played them that we noticed that was difficulty for us was the rebounding.
Yeah.
Like I know like when a shot went up, like they all boxed out right away, and like they don't have too much height. I know they have some bigs, but it was impressive to see that playing against them.
Yeah, no, they're all around. Just
Who'd they lose to?
I'll have to look it up. Remember, I'm trying to think. I do know this. I also have this website that I can look on, so I can check it out.
Statement win against Mamaroneck, Kev, John.
Yeah.
Statement win.
Yeah,
holding them to 26 points with that offensive firepower. They made a statement in that game.
Yeah,
that's a statement.
They're impressive. They're going to be and obviously in AAA it's going to be tough to compete considering with Albertus Magnus, which is
and catch them.
Yeah. So no, they're going to be interesting team to watch in the second half of the season. Pelham, they're undefeated. They just beat Irvington. They beat Irvington twice. They beat Byram Hills twice. I love this Pelham team because they made the Section 1 championship game last year. They had Ardsley kind of on the ropes a little bit in that game. They down to the wire game. They ended up losing to Ardsley. Ardsley goes on to win a state championship. You could make a case that Pelham last year was the second best team in the state in Class A, just based off of that, the way that they the 2 games they played with Ardsley. They have a nice group returning. Obviously, Brooke Green leading the way. She's only a sophomore. She's the best nickname in Section 1 of Ramby, which is a combination of Rambo and Bambi, which is kind and if you really think about it, it's like she's tough, she's rugged, but she's just kind of like sweet and very nice. Okay. She kind of fills up the stat sheet, does a lot of things that her older sister did. And I think this Pelham team is just kind of on their way. They're ranked high in the state right now because they're undefeated. I would still say they're kind of behind Tappan Zee in Class A as one of the favorite teams. But Colleen Sheehy, 17.6 points per game. Brooke Green, as we said, averaging a double-double, 10.6, 12 rebounds. Emma Namba, a great shooter, 10 points per game. And they're obviously doing it all without Val Arakis, who's second year in a row suffering from injury, so she's not being able to play. She might be one of the best all-around athletes in the section.
Coach over at Pelham,
Tim Petrulli,
who we know very well.
We know Tim Petrulli very
and
well.
He does a fantastic job and seems to, like we talk about great coaches, adjusting to his personnel on a yearly basis, seems to have a finger on the pulse of this team.
Yeah, Arden Kehoe has been a big factor for them. She's going to play Division I lacrosse, and she stepped in just as he said. I love on boys and girls basketball teams when there's like the veteran athlete who plays basketball. Who just kind of does like a little bit of dirty work and just does what it takes to help the team. She's going to play at Lafayette, and she's been huge for them. So Pelham's trying to sneak under the radar. Last year, I put them going to the playoffs as the team to beat, and I was wrong. Ardsley goes on to win a state championship. This year, I'm going to let them stay under the radar because, as I said, Tappan Zee to me is still the team in Class A.
I would say whoever came up with her nickname is definitely a parents, because it wasn't the kids that came up with Rambo and Bambi and put these two together. So Rambi, I like
that's
it.
fantastic.
It's a great. It's Coach Petrulli. Give up Rambo. Yeah. It's good. And then our last team is Arlington, and it's really just listen, they lost at home to Albertus Magnus in an ugly game. I mean, ugly. They kind of hung in stretches, but next thing you know, you look up and it was just like a 10-point game became a 20-point game. And I think they are still in the mix in probably one of the best teams in Dutchess County, if not the best team in Dutchess County on the public side. Sophia Rosigno leads them. So I tuned in to watch their game at Fox Lane on Sports Engine. They get down 20-4, and I was like, oh, that's disappointing for them, They came back and won the game. So it just goes to show you this kind of the resolve that this team has, resiliency, and Sophia Rosigno was a big part of that down the stretch. And I like the way Kim Costello, their head coach, kind of manages games. And, she had a good game plan against Julia Scott, but so does a lot of people. And it doesn't really work out. They tried to double her in the post, but they just lobbed the ball up to her. So I think Arlington's going to be a team that's going to be in the mix. They're probably going to get double-digit. They'll look at 13, 14, 15 wins when all is said and done. And they have a nice group to compete with.
All right. So listen, we're going to start the voting off with you this time, Coach. Who's your team of the week for the girls?
My team of the week is going to be Scarsdale, and Coach Blanco, and I know a lot of those young ladies over there because we've done a lot of work with Scarsdale youth basketball, and for that team to come out at 6-1, to make the statement that they made against Mamaroneck, and I think people are kind of surprised because outside of basketball, nobody saw this coming. Scarsdale girls are my girls' team of the week.
Kevin?
I'm going to go with Pelham just because I think they've kind of done it pretty decisively to start the season. Their 5 wins have all been, kind of comfortable wins. They've showed off a wide array of talent in this roster, and I like the way that they're kind of made up, and I think that they're a team that's going to just keep getting better as the year goes on. And
all right,
that Scarsdale loss was to Mamaroneck, so they split with Mamaroneck.
Okay.
They came back and beat them the second time around.
Who do you choose?
So I haven't played Pelham this year. I played them last year. But I think I'm going to choose them as my team of the week because to come back after such a strong year last year when they lost Taylor Green, I played with her because she was playing Northeast Elite. But to come back and start off the season so strong and to have, I think you said they have 3 girls averaging double digits.
Yes, yeah.
On the team. That's very impressive to me.
Yeah, they share the ball well,
yeah.
the way that they run the out, and obviously Brooke gets a lot of her baskets kind of in the flow on offensive rebounds, and just because of her, her size and athleticism. So yeah, they're going to be interesting to watch as the second half of the season goes on.
You know what's really impressive to me before we move on to the boys is the fact that after Kendall has a dominating college career and hopefully goes pro, her commentary career, her being on the show career is already set. We need to give her a contract. We give Tom Brady
be a future in broadcast journalism.
I mean, you're a natural up here.
Mom's like, she's going to be a lawyer. Let's not confuse where money is made.
Lawyer.
I know. That's why I chose lawyer.
Exactly. All right, well, that's a great segue into our players of the week for the boys.
All right, so we'll let her stick around for the boys. Let's do that.
Yeah.
That's good. Boys ones, we're going.
I mean, considering that she has the record of the school.
Yes. So
boys and girls, she
owns all the males. I'll tell you something. Blind Brook scoring record, male and female, is a good one. There's been a lot of boys have won 2 state basketball championships.
Boys have won 2 state basketball championships. The people that are on that wall have played very high level Division III college basketball, UAA, NESCAC. And so, Kendall, like I said, you when you go up on that wall, you may be the only. They had a Division I player, the kid that was a point guard on the first state championship team.
John Michael Grzan.
Yes.
Yeah.
He went to Columbia.
Yep.
You're going to be the You'll be the second one ever to play Division I there.
Yeah.
Which is incredible, but you'll be at the top of that leaderboard.
But the one with the most points.
Did you forget who the first was?
Who?
Karen Konigsberg.
She went to Blind Brook?
Yes.
Actually,
Fourth. Okay.
Fifth?
Who am I
Now
missing?
we got a lot of corrections.
My aunt and my uncle.
She's not even the first Konigsberg. Sorry, go on.
Yeah, my aunt and my uncle, who also went to Blind Brook, went on to play both at Lehigh.
Okay. And both at basketball.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
there we go.
since I've been living in Westchester, I've been here 24
don't do
years.
The thing. So this is what I used to get accused of. People used to say to me, they're like, "Oh, Kevin, you just think everything started when you started working as a reporter. Like nothing happened before."
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, it wasn't on Twitter then."
Correct.
So, yeah.
True.
So, but
So
no.
my apologies to the family because, like
you
I
only
said,
offended her family. Don't worry.
right, exactly, yeah.
Right.
But no, I've been here 24 years, and I just remember Gazan being the guy.
Yeah. So, but still an amazing accomplishment.
Absolutely.
Still, absolutely. On the boys' side, maybe talking about Division I player one day. Zion Watkins is our first player of the week from Mount Vernon. Probably didn't know who he was before the season started.
No.
He has been awesome, and he did it many time zones away for Mount Vernon because they went to Hawaii. They go to Hawaii. And
miserable place to go for
Coach
basketball.
Semino really doesn't like to go to Hawaii.
No, he doesn't.
He goes every chance he can go.
he goes pretty much every 2 years. I don't think
he loves Hawaii.
Yeah, they've gone out there. They've played Oak Hill when they've gone out there.
Absolutely.
The tournament, the Iolani Classic, is it's great. It's great because the teams that go there are typically like some of the most well-coached fundamental basketball teams that you'll see. And Mount Vernon went up against them. So Mount Vernon is obviously crazy to say this, under the radar. In Section 1, people talk about Mamaroneck is the team to beat. North Rockland's been great. New Rochelle's defending champions. Mount Vernon didn't make it to the county center last year. So, the greatest public school program in the state has been totally forgotten in 12 months. Zion Watkins might bring them back real quick because what I saw from him and the way he scored the game, I mean, his ability to punch, dribble, step back, jump shots, 3-point shooting, getting to the basket, getting their big men involved. They have great guards. So the kind of thing Mount Vernon is that people thought they're never going to be able to match up on the perimeter or down low. But they have the wings and now the size to do that. But Zion might be their guy. I mean, he might end up being their player. 18 points in the win over Lexington Catholic
out of Kentucky.
And that's a solid win for Mount Vernon. So I don't know what expectations are for Mount Vernon overall, but he made all tournament in the Iolani Classic, which is an accomplishment. So and if you watch the highlights, you realize like, wow, this kid can play. He's really improved. He's come a long way. He's a senior, so he has a chance to make something special this year.
John, Kevin, we overlook, a lot of people overlook what Bob Semino does. Mm-hmm. He's had long athletic teams. He's had mid-sized teams. He's had small teams. And the godfather, as I call him, of Section 1, he just figures it out every year. He figures out a way to get it done. He figures out a way to put the kids in the best positions possible to be successful. And obviously, he's done that with this
Yeah,
group.
and
They're on their way.
The depth in Class AAA in Section 1 this year isn't quite what it has been, especially last year when you had Scarsdale, you had Rockland. So they didn't make the county center last year. I don't see how they don't make it this year, even though White Plains has improved as well. And then you get on that county center court, anything can happen. So I like.
Unfortunately, some of us know that firsthand.
The hard way. Yeah. Man, we still talk about that.
Yeah.
Our next player is from Kennedy Catholic, from the Catholic League. Sebastian Jackson. 26 points in win over Regis, 31 points in the game against Scanlon B, was MVP of the Eastchester tournament. And Kendall, you talked about something interesting to me, is that about, say marketing yourself and showing what you could do. Sebastian Jackson, I didn't know who he was before the season started, and he posts on X a lot, Instagram a lot of videos, and I watch him, and I'm like, man, this kid's talented. And so part of me feels like you got to give a little shine to this kid.
We had him very young at camp, and we had him for several years, and then all of a sudden he got to be 6'2", 6'3", what?
Yeah.
And so he has a lot of Division II interest. I spoke to his dad, has a tremendous amount of Division II interest. Not sure. A couple of Division I's are starting to, get in the water, touch the water or whatever. But he's definitely a scholarship basketball player. They're going to have to make a decision. His parents and Sebastian have to make a decision. Do I do a post-grad year after I graduate from Kennedy?
Yeah.
To give myself the opportunity, John, for him to get a chance to play at the Division I level.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, especially in boys basketball, because I just read an article about G League players who didn't go to college play ball are now coming back to play college ball, and they're allowed to do so. So they can get their NIL money,
Coach,
and they can do it.
I'm not gonna.
I wish you didn't bring that up.
No, because
now I'm in a bad mood.
No, I'm and I don't.
It's just obnoxious that they.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. That whole thing is.
I cannot understand how that is actually being allowed to happen.
Yeah.
It's,
all right.
it's
the
horrible.
Baylor
So go ahead.
Yep.
Now the door's open. Back to the sanctity of high school basketball.
Yes,
Anthony
yes.
Figueroa is our third player for player of the week. You can't ignore 51 points. I'm trying to ignore Julia Scott for as much as I can because she's going to have her time in the second of the year.
Right.
But you can't ignore 51 points in their game this week over YMA. This year, Anthony Figueroa has scored, going backwards in points, 51, 41, 30, 42, 31, 34, 42. 271 points, averaging 38.7 points per game. He's at 1,681 points. The record is 2,057 for Section 1 basketball. Now, that's an amazing number. We have another maybe potential 2,000-point scorer here.
Yes, we do.
But this is a number that has stood since 1983. And that, to me, is more... The greater accomplishment is breaking a record. If you go through every section in the state, the scoring record was set in the last 10 years, except for Section 1. And it speaks to kind of the depth of Section 1 and the talent of Section 1 and all these things and how hard it is to kind of get to varsity, score like that from your freshman year on. You need to score, score 500 points a year, basically, right?
Yeah.
And to get to that number and to do it is it's pretty remarkable.
Well, listen, we talked about it in the beginning of the season, right? For our first episode, where he needed to average 27.3 points, I think, per game, and he's.
I think it was 31,
31.7.
but then his scoring was so high at the beginning that it kind of keeps going down.
Yeah.
He needs to average 24 points a game the rest of the way. It keeps going down. So he's in a good position.
As you can see, I need paper to be written. These two elephant brains here will always correct me.
Kendall,
on
Anthony
my mistakes.
Figueroa, you've followed his career. You hear about him a lot. Just the numbers. When I read those numbers out, your eyes kind of lit up a little bit.
Yeah, that very impressive. Just to while people may view him as not like what you were saying before about
small schools.
Yeah. Just because he's from a small school does not mean like that accomplishment. The amount of points he's scoring is not. It's not like worth as much. That's very impressive.
Incredible. It's incredible what he's done, what he continues to do. And listen, as I said, we can go 5 years, 10 years without 2,000-point scores. Obviously, in Section 1, we did it 40 years. But we might have multiple. Obviously,
well, that's what I'm saying.
Jake Pampolino
I've been here 24 years.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Julia Scott's gonna do it.
If she gets it done, if Kendall gets it done,
and
Anthony get it done, we're gonna have two 2,000 point scores in our section in the same year.
In this year, we might have Julius Guy could break the Rockland. Now, Rockland County scoring record is important for, Rockland. We don't live there, but it's important. Rockland.
Oh, you better believe it.
The male and female record could go down. Both have been over 15 years.
In the same year.
In the same year, they could both go down. Jake Pampolina from Suffern, Julius Scott from Albertus Magnus.
Who I saw play.
We have a 2,000 point scorer here at our table, and we have the Section 1 record break, and that's amazing. That's like incredible.
In the same year.
In the same year.
In the same section.
All these things that just like never happen could all happen in 1 year. It's pretty remarkable. So,
Claudia,
we're lucky.
listen,
we're lucky to be having our show this year. So
exactly. When they all break that, when they all break those records, we got to figure out how we can fit them all here on the show.
Yeah, well, we'll
start
kick
working
Coach
on
out,
that right now.
Yeah.
I'll sit over with Claudio and Justin where Miss Konigsberg's sitting. I'm gonna sit over there. And I'll just scream out to whatever my questions.
Player of the week. I'm going to go with Zion. I thought Zion Watkins from Mount Vernon, just watching those late night, it was beautiful. When you play in Hawaii, the game started at 11 o'clock at night. And what else am I doing that time of night? So I'm watching Mount Vernon play in Hawaii.
I'm going to watch that film that you sent me.
Yeah, the one I sent you was...
For next week's show. Mm-hmm. I'm going to go with Sebastian Jackson since I've known him since he was little.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for him. And he's my player of the week for a multitude of reasons.
Kendall?
I feel like I have to go with Anthony.
Yeah, good call. Set that up for you nice. Yeah,
Excellent.
I mean, listen, Kendall, I don't vote on the show. I keep it neutral between these guys and let the fans vote. But I was just about, if you were not here, I was going to say, how many points does this kid have to score to get the vote from these two guys?
Because he's going to be back on this list again at some point.
We're going to bring him on the show.
Yeah, we also going to do that.
51 points, and he couldn't even win Player of the Week. Listen, that's going to be a lot of anger on Instagram. A lot of anger.
Teams of the week.
Go ahead.
Teams of the week. White Plains. They're 5-0. Beat up New Rochelle, coach, and that was interesting. I was pretty much going to say, okay, there's not a lot of room once you get after Mamaroneck, North Rockland, and I'm going to put Mount Vernon into that group as well. Who's the next team? Is it White Plains New Rochelle? They went head to head, and White Plains took care of them, 56-42 on the road at New Row. Nathan Plummer, averaging 17 points, 9 rebounds in the last 2 wins over Ketchum and New Row. And then what I love, and this is a Spencer Mayfield staple, they have had 5 games, had 4 different leading scorers.
I love watching White Plains play.
Yeah.
Little known fact about Spencer Mayfield and I started my coaching career in Bergen County, New Jersey at Ridgefield Park when he was the head boys basketball coach at Tenafly High School.
Yes.
And so I've known Coach Mayfield a long time. I've seen him coach for 37 years now, give or take. Defense is what he hangs his hat on, and they defend at their team defense structurally, fundamentally is as good as anybody's in the country at the high school level.
Yeah.
Well, you could tell by not watching it, four different leading scorers. That's a lot of,
and he's
lot of turnovers, a lot of layups.
And he does not, there's not going to be, he's got guys, nobody's going to average probably more than 17 a game over there.
Yeah.
Most times.
My favorite moments of my career doing this 28 years was when Mount Vernon, White Plains, New Rochelle, White Plains, those games used to sell out before an hour before the game.
Absolutely.
I used to get there, I used to get a chair, bring my chair. I used to always sit next to Coach Mayfield, like by the scores table, because back then I didn't film. I would just take notes on the game. And sitting that close to him, some of the things I heard, nothing bad, but just funny comments that he'd make about referees, about his own players, about me. I'll just never forget those things. I love being
little known fact about him as well. Longtime Utah Jazz scout.
Yeah.
And also his
advanced scout. Yeah.
Yep, advanced scout for Utah Jazz, and his progression drills, 1-on-1, 2-on-2, 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 5-on-5 defensive progression drills are legendary.
You're not going to find many better practice coaches than him.
No.
Awesome. Next team is Suffern. Another guy's done a great job as coach is Scott Wright from Suffern. They're 3-0. It's been, it's a little bit of, obviously, he sent me the score the other night, 37-34. I'm like, is it halftime? Like,
I watched the whole game.
And he goes, no, just a good defensive effort. They were shorthanded. They played Clarkstown North, which is another Class AA school. That's kind of in the mix. They're shorthanded because of the flu. Jake Pampolino goes out, puts up 18 points against Clarkstown North. He's averaging 23.7. We talked about Jake as possibly going to break Brendan McManus's Rockland County scoring record from Pearl River, which has been stood for 20 years. So it's a pretty great accomplishment.
Saw them play against Clarkstown North.
Yep.
I'm going to say this just in general. Catch and shoot basketball is the most underappreciated and undervalued skill in our country. Both of those teams ran really good stuff. Scott Wright ran a ton of different stuff. We'll talk about it later, I'm sure. But there were guys wide open. It wasn't like a bad 30. You know how John, a bad 37 Kendall, you know what a bad 37-34 game looks like, final score looks like. It wasn't a bad game. Guys couldn't make open looks.
Yeah.
So if I'm a coach from both teams, Scott Wright and Coach Kenny over there at Clarkstown North, I'm working on my catch and shoot.
Yep, that's it. Our final team is Tappan Zee. Will stay in Rockland County, defending Section 1 champions. New coach, Ryan McWilliams, young guy.
So crazy.
Covered him when I usually when I cover high school coaches, it's when I was working at the newspaper. Now we're entering when I worked at MSU varsity. So like, wow, these guys are really young. He's done an unbelievable job, just picking up where George Gain left off as a coach. They're 5-0. They beat Nyack in a blowout win on Saturday, which was a tough game for him to coach in because it was like an alumni day gathering. They honored Coach Gain for retiring.
Sure.
It was, so you basically had every player that has been before him and since him, and he's the head coach now, staying on the sideline, and they went out there and they put a number on Nyack. And then he comes back and he beats Nanuet in a close game on Tuesday, just before the snow came in. And they win that game 47-44, so they're undefeated. Isaiah Lavelle, Jack Picone, 2 players returning from last
Really
year's
good
second
players,
championship. 2 really talented players, just unselfish guys. They're fun to watch, and they're in the mix again in Class A.
This is how old I am. I coached against Ryan McWilliams in AAU.
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah.
So that'll tell you where I'm at. Nothing's changed over there. Wouldn't expect it to. Ryan playing for Coach Gaines. Coach McWilliams, I got to say Coach McWilliams now.
Yeah.
Playing for Coach Gain. Standard has stayed the same. Culture is going to stay the same. And they're going to continue to have the same success because of it.
Yep, absolutely. They're going to win these tight games against Rockland County teams. Watched Dave Masterson pace the sideline the other day. It was tough because they had their opportunities in that game, just couldn't close it out.
Talking about such a good coach.
Yeah,
Dave
course,
Masterson, what he does at Nanuet year in and year out. John really gets the most out of his kids and had a shot at it. Yep.
Listen, I look forward to sitting next to you in the coach's box, analyzing the coaches live during a game. Now that we got past the December and the January season, I look forward to that, Coach. So, since this is a team of the week, Coach, you get to go first. Who's your team of the week?
My team of the week is going to be Coach Mayfield and the White Plains Tigers.
Okay.
Because I live close to White Plains, and I like Coach Mayfield, and I've known him for 37 years now. So I'm going to go with Coach Mayfield. And I don't think, other than Coach Mayfield and his staff, that they thought they were going to get off to the start that they've gotten off to.
Tappan Zee, obviously losing a couple starters from last year, losing their head coach, legendary coach. They have been impressive. They did not impressive in their first game against Pleasantville on the road. It was a little ugly. Yeah. They barely won that game. But to me, they look more like a team that has a chance to win a section title.
Kendall?
Obviously, I don't know much about these teams, but from what you guys were saying, I'm going to go with White Plains.
Yeah.
Just about having like the 4 different leading scorers in different games.
Yeah. It's a good stat. It's a good stat.
She's talking like a coach.
She is. She's talking like a TV personality.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and listen, because, look, if you start watching the show a lot, you'll start to see it's very easy, Kendall, to predict who's going to pick what. Coach is Westchester. Kevin is Rockland. Okay, we're starting to get this little rivalry across the bridge.
Yes.
So that's very good. Okay, perfect. So thank you, guys. We'll make sure that we put up all of the voting on Instagram, like always. Player of the week first, team of the week next. You guys vote, and then we will announce that on our next show. All right. And now, one of my favorite segments. We have the KDJ Games of the Week to watch, brought to you by Sports Engine.
Sports Engine, yes, because all these games are going to be on Sports Engine because the only games that really matter this after the holiday break. There's a lot of tournaments coming up. Pelham has a tournament. There's a lot of different games going on. But to me, the Slam Dunk and the Crusader Classic are all that you should really be focused on. And all those games will be streaming. I'll be broadcasting all of them. They start on Friday, January 2nd. So we're going to kind of mix in boys and girls here together. The Friday schedule is great. Ardsley against YMA, 2 defending Section 1 champions, 2 teams that went to the state Final Four, and 2 teams that are right in the mix once again. That is leading us off at noon on Friday, January 2nd at the County Center, followed by Pelham and Mamaroneck. So 2 teams that are in contention again. So we have 2 good girls games start the day off.
I'll be there
Kendall, you
from
be there?
sun up to sundown.
I didn't know that was going on, but
Yes. You play with some of these players. I think there's a lot of Northeast Elite players in these two games. So that is at the County Center, noon and 1:45 on the 2nd, January 2nd. So
We'll make sure Kevin gives you a VIP.
you will get
pass.
free
Yeah.
for being here today. I know he's going to give you a hoodie. We're going to give you we'll give you free access to the slam dunk. That's our gift from you. Yes, and you can bring obviously your mother. The boys' schedule on the Friday. It's good. Tuckahoe, Pearl River. So Tuckahoe was our team to our favorite in Class C to
absolutely.
repeat. Pearl River was my team in Class A as the front runner, although that's kind of a little bit more wide open now. That's a 3:30 game on the 2nd. And then we're going to have two of the most prolific scorers in Section 1 in the 5:15 game with Anthony Ficarata, Dobbs Ferry, taking on Marcus Jaquette and Westlake. By the way, I had very much of a hand in helping select these games. And these are all like marquee level games right now. So the 5:15 game. And then we finish it off with New Rochelle, defending Section 1 champions in Class AAA, taking on Woodlands, the state finalists in Class B from last year. So another great game. 5 games, 1 admission on January 2nd.
I know that Coach John Rappaport has circled this game and has basically challenged his team. If we're supposed to be who we are, this will be one of the games that will be a measuring stick as to where we're going.
Yep. So we go and flip to the Saturday schedule. We start with 2 more girls' games. The noon game on January the 3rd is Rye Westlake. On the girls' side, obviously, Westlake is beaten up right now, obviously, with Brooke Pfeiffer gone for the season with another knee injury. We talked about that last week, taking on a Rye team that is kind of head and shoulders, not head and shoulders, but they're the front runners by far in Class AA on the girls' side. And then the 1:45 game is 2 national powerhouses, Christ the King from New York City, Albertus Magnus on the girls' side, going head to head. So you have
That'll be a big
Big
one.
O versus Julius Scott. So it's a marquee matchup. That was the game last year. They met at the County Center in the slam dunk and got away from Albertus early on in that game. This is probably as I said last week, I'll say it again, maybe the biggest Albertus Magnus game ever that they've ever going to play on the girls' side. Right. So they want to win this game badly for New York. On the 3:30 schedule from the boys, we flip the boys now. Byram Hills, Fox Lane, 2 teams separated by a mile. There's my houses in between the 2 of them. And they're going to go to the County Center and play each other. So we'll see Byram Hills on a big stage. I think they've looked really good so far. Mamaroneck plays Fordham Prep in the 5:15 game. So big measuring stick game for Mamaroneck.
Fordham Prep, we don't talk a lot about. We should, because they've done a great job over there. They've got good talent. Very versatile. They've got really good skill players as well.
Yeah, actually, I played ball against their coach.
He was done a fantastic job.
Yeah. Brian played for St. Margaret's. I went to visitation. They were our rivals when I was in 8th grade.
CYO.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, so great guy, awesome job he's doing.
He's done a
over there.
fantastic job there.
7 p.m. game, Iona Prep, Stepanak in the Crusader Classic. So obviously that used to be a standalone game and its own event at the County Center. They've now merged into the Slam Dunk. It's been very successful in the 3 years. And that's the final game of that Slam Dunk weekend.
Well, listen, since you're broadcasting all these games, which one on Friday night is your most anticipated game to watch?
I'll take Tuckahoe Pearl River boys. I think that's a great game. I was going to say Pelham and Mamaroneck, but to me, Tuckahoe Pearl River, because we're looking at 2 teams that could be holding gold balls in that court in a month and a half, 2 months.
See, I like the Marcus Anthony matchup.
Yeah, that's good.
Matchup.
There's no bad answer
those
to
2
that
balls.
question.
No, I think it's a fantastic matchup. I know where I'm going to be the 2nd and 3rd for about 20 hours.
Yeah, that's it.
10 hours each day. I know where I'll be.
Kendall's going? She's in?
I'm really interested in that Ardsley YMA game.
Yes, absolutely. A little scouting because you're going to face both of them.
Yeah.
Do you have games this week or during the break?
The 5th is our first game.
Okay, so you're back after the break, right? So everyone's back back on the school schedule, but that's our games of the week. It's all one place, 2 admissions, $20.
At this point,
I'll be waving to you, Kevin.
That's it.
No, wow. Listen, at this point, I'm gonna nominate Kendall to sit right next to you.
You should.
In the
You know what?
right?
I'm gonna tell you something. I've always done coaches for County Center for the championships to have on as broadcasters. I may honestly explore having students. I'm definitely gonna have Brooke Pfeiffer on because obviously she tore her ACL for the 2nd time in 12 months. So bring her on for the Westlake girls game, and maybe I'll mix some other athletes. Involved.
Kendall
would be great for the Ardsley YMA game.
Yeah.
So we'll maybe explore that. I'll have my people call your people. So.
Right. Have people call our people. Yeah. And where are we Monday night?
Monday night.
Monday night? Are we not? Is there a
Mount
game on
Vernon is yeah. So we kind of talked about those games last week, but Monday night is Mount Vernon is going to be at Iona Prep and part of a showcase of events they're having there. So we'll share more of those details.
You're broadcasting that show as well, right?
I am broadcasting that game. Yeah.
Monday night.
Monday night. Yeah,
Monday
I think
night.
My wife and I are trying
join.
to get away for a night Sunday night, but we got to get
Monday
home.
night. I'm
big game
going to
Monday
talk
night.
to Coach Phillip and get my seat in the gym.
Yeah, no, we're going to do that. So this has been an amazing show. Okay, guys, thank you so much for that. Kendall, thank you for joining us. You are natural in this arena. We're so glad to have you. In that case, we do have a gift for you in this show. Right here, we have this locked-in sweatshirt.
The
That
winning
we will
moments in the
show.
back. Yeah.
Okay, locked in on the front because
nice.
you are locked in at all times. Yes, the winning moments on the back, but most importantly, part of our new technology right here, there's a chip in here. You'll be able to tap that and relive all of your winning moments and on your pathway to 2000.
Wow.
So we
Thank you
really
so much.
appreciate
I
having
really
you.
appreciate that.
Thank you very
Absolutely.
much.
Thank you for having me. It's
No problem. Thank you, Kendall.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Excellent.
Like always, we really appreciate you guys watching. We're all about celebrating the kids. So please share the moments with us. Send us your highlights. We'll watch them. We can't get all of them on the show, but we'll do our best. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate it. Like, subscribe, follow, share. Sharing is caring. And let's help these kids get notarized the way they should. Thank you.